Hi, I'm David Bogie, and we're here to talk about Gilles Deleuze third series called The Proposition, his analysis of Alice in Wonderland. This is one of the more exciting of the series, I think, because it really gets at the basics of what is language, and it gives us a whole other interpretation of Alice. Maybe Alice isn't as sweet a thing as we think she might be. So that's what I'm going to talk about today. So if we look at what Lewis Carroll says, I can't go back to yesterday because I was a different person then. It's an amazing quote, and I want to think about that as we go through this third series. It's a proposition. And here he is holding Alice. Now, let me move myself out of the way here and transition. Okay, so in the third series, Deleuze talks about 4 dimensions of the proposition. So the proposition is, how do we get dry from being in the well of tears? Right? There's a number of other propositions, but each of them have 4 dimensions. The denotation, what's the data, the relation of data to the state of affairs they're in. They're in the pool of tears, they want to get dry. You have indexicals, this, that, it, here, there, yesterday, now, and names like Alice and the mouse and the name of the mouse, etc., and other characters. Then you have the manifestation. It's all about causality. You have desire and belief is related to anticipation and what I call anti-narrative bets on the future. So these can manifest. Internal causality can manifest into our external world. You have signification. A word signifies a universal concept now. Now we're getting into something very conceptual. What does all of this signify? And finally, the most interesting dimension is sense. And in Enactment.com, we talk about the difference between enacting, acting without thinking, right? And here we have a sense-making story. But Lewis Carroll says, no, this is not a story. This is thinking through problems and traps, barriers, coming up with solutions. So I would say the thinking here is bigger than just, oh, I'm walking through life in the here and now, and I'm making sense of this and that, da-da-da. That's the Signification movie. That's not what we mean here by sense. So let's look at, the Disney film centers Alice among the animals in the forest. And it's all very cute and pretty, but that's not what Deleuze is going after at all. Alice in Wonderland, adapted from the original Lewis Carroll book, 1836 is when it came out, the famous book. And now we're seeing how Alice sees the world through the eyes of the author, Lewis Carroll. And we're taking a step back and looking at what it is that Gilles Deleuze is doing. What is denotation, the data to the state of affairs, the indexicals, this, that, it, here, there, yesterday, now, tomorrow, future, Alice, mouse. What are tears in this state of affairs? If I denotate tears, Alice originally had the tears. Let's review. She was growing very large, shrinking very small. The tears are growing and growing because she can't control her size. A mouse appears and she's just the right size, having encountered the white rabbit once again, who gave her some little white gloves to put on, who gave her, a fan, and she's able to manipulate these two objects and get bigger or smaller, and she's finally able to get control. And she's not crying anymore, but she wants to get out of the pool of tears. And the mouse says, hey, let's just go to the shore. And there's all kinds of other animals now as we go into the third chapter of Lewis Carroll's book and look at the third series in Gilles Deleuze. Now, when we look at manifestation, we're saying, okay, what is it that we are manifesting? And there's the cause and effect. And for Deleuze, he's saying there's an internal cause, our desire and our belief, anticipating existence, what I call anti-narrating, the bets on the future. So something is in the future as an effect where we have these internal causes. And the effect here can be external, a manifestation in the external. I call it the manifestation in the being, the existential being, from having a desire, a belief, a bet, an anticipation. Ante up, place your bets, is the notion here. So when we look at Lewis and Carroll, it's the mouse that takes center stage in the third chapter. And it's a caucus. It's called about the caucus. They're caucusing together to make some choices. How do we dry off from having been in the well of tears? All of these various animals have been in the well of tears, the dodo, the owl, the crabs, the badger, the duck. I think there's an ape in the background, an eaglet, although it looks like a full-grown eagle to me, and some other characters, and Alice is sitting there among them, listening to the mouse tell his story. So it's rather interesting. The significations here, words signify a universal concept. So now we're not signifying things or beliefs, right? We're signifying something universal. This is an Immanuel Kant notion of signification. So how many signification does the mouse generate? Here I ask this question to you, the audience. Look at what happens next in the Lewis Carroll account. Now, Fury, a character brought in by the mouse, and wants to do damage to the mouse, right? And this is shaped like a tail. Like on the page of the Lewis Carroll book, it's shaped like a tail, T-A-I-L, but it is a tale, a telling of something, right? And Fury has said, a mouse, that he might, in the house, let us both go to law. I will prosecute you. Come, I'll take no. What? Take no what? Let us continue. A mouse that he met in the house. Let us both go. I will prosecute you. Come,